The morning light spilled through the glass walls of the mansion, painting streaks of gold across the marble floors. The silence of the house was heavy, too perfect, the kind that felt rehearsed, not lived in. From the hallway, you could already hear the faint sound of typing, fast, rhythmic, precise. He was awake. You found him in his home office, seated behind a large oak desk, dressed immaculately in a black shirt with the sleeves folded up to his elbows. A steaming mug of coffee sat beside his laptop, untouched like everything else that wasn't work related. John Jungkook, the man who ruled half the business world, didn't even look up when you entered. You stood by the door for a moment, watching him. The morning sunlight caught on his dark hair and his sharp features locked, almost sculpted, perfect, intimidating, distant. You didn't come to bed last night, your voice broke the still air, soft but firm. He didn't glance up, his fingers still moving across the keyboard. I had things to handle, you always do. That made him pause just for a second. Then he leaned back in his chair, exhaling slowly, his eyes dark and unreadable. Finally met yours. If you came here to complain, don't. I warned you this marriage would demand patience. Your heart twisted at his calm tone, not angry, not defensive, just coldly factual. I'm not complaining, I'm just reminding you that you're married to a person, not a business deal. His jaw clenched subtly, and I have never treated you otherwise. You gave a small, bitter laugh, stepping closer. Really, because sometimes I wonder if you even see me, Jungkook. You pass by me like I'm part of your decor. He stood then, slow and deliberate. The movement alone carried quiet authority, the kind that sent a shiver through you even when you didn't want it to. You are exaggerating. Am I? You tilted your head, meeting his gaze head on. Tell me one thing you know about me that isn't written on your marriage certificate. The silence that followed was deafening. His expression didn't change, but his eyes flickered, a faint crack in the calm surface. He turned away, picking up the coffee he still hadn't touched. You are being emotional and you are being heartless. The words came out before you could stop them. His hand froze midair for a long second. Neither of you spoke. Then, in a tone far too controlled, he said, be careful with your words, Vine. I don't respond well to accusations. Then maybe respond to your wife once in a while. He looked at you, eyes hard as glass. The tension between you was sharp, thick with all the unsaid words and unacknowledged emotions. You could feel your pulse in your throat, the weight of his gaze pressing against you. But then, as quickly as it came, the spark faded. He set the coffee down, picked up his suit jacket, and brushed past you without another word. The faint scent of his cologne lingered as he walked out, leaving you in the quiet hum of his office. His word, where you were just an interruption. Later, when you walked by the living room, you noticed something small on the couch, your phone charger, plugged in neatly. He must have done it before leaving, silently fixing what you had forgotten. That was the thing about Jungkook. He never said he cared, but his actions whispered it in ways you almost missed. And yet, those whispers were never enough. The ballroom shimmered with chandeliers and crystal wine glasses. Every influential figure in the city had gathered for John Enterprises' annual business gala, a night where Jungkook ruled the room without even trying. You stood beside him wrapped in a champagne-colored gown that hugged your frame just right. His hand rested lightly at your lower back, a gesture of formality rather than affection. To the world, he looked like the perfect couple, the powerful CEO and his graceful wife, but you knew better. His gaze swept over the crowd, sharp and detached. You followed it until it stopped. That's when you saw her, Hannah. The name alone made your stomach tighten. She was radiant, tall, poised, her black silk dress reflecting the golden lights. Her red lips curved into a confident smile as she approached. And when Jungkook's eyes met hers, something unreadable flickered across his face recognition, memory, maybe even restraint. She didn't hesitate. Jungkook, her voice dripped with familiarity. You hated how easily his name rolled off her tongue. Hannah, he said her name slowly, controlled, polite. You turned slightly toward him, observing every subtle change in his posture, the way his jaw tensed for half a second before he relaxed it again. How his hand slipped away from your back, Hannah's gaze flickered toward you, her smile sweet, too sweet. You must be wine. I have heard so much about you. He returned the smile even though your chest felt tight. All good things, I hope. Hannah laughed softly. Oh, of course, you are very different from what I imagined. You tilted your head. And what did you imagine? Her eyes glimmered with subtle mischief. Someone a little colder, to match him. You smiled, refusing to give her the satisfaction of seeing the sting. Well, one of us has to keep the house from freezing. Jungkook's gaze snapped to you, calm, unreadable, but his fingers flexed slightly against his glass, a tiny reaction. Hannah's laughter filled the space, melodic and deliberate, still as sharp as ever. Jungkook, I missed that about said the bender. He caught the faintest muscle twitch in Jungkook's jaw. He didn't answer, but his silence sad enough he wouldn't entertain her, yet he didn't stop her either. That night, he noticed how her presence followed him even when she wasn't near. Days turned into weeks, and Hannah was suddenly everywhere. At his office, at his meetings, at corporate luncheons. She had become Joan Enterprise's new PR consultant, assigned apparently by the board. You hadn't questioned it at first. But then you started noticing the little things, the faint traces of perfume on his suit, not yours. The way he spoke on the phone, voice softer than usual, the subtle change in his tone whenever her name came up. You had never been the jealous type, but jealousy wasn't loud, it was quiet, creeping. The kind that filled your chest when he smiled at her in a way he never smiled at you. That night you waited for him in study, the air was heavy with unsaid things. He entered past midnight, the top buttons of his shirt undone, his expression as distant as ever. He stood from the couch, heart pounding. You're home late again. I had a meeting with Hannah. He paused mid step, then exhaled, not guilty, not nervous, just tired of explaining himself. She's working for my company. Wine, don't start unnecessary drama. He scoffed quietly, crossing your arms. Oh, so it's drama. Now to ask my husband why his ex fiancee is practically living in his office. His jaw tightened. You are overreacting. Am I? Because from where I stand, it looks like she's getting more of your attention than your own wife. His eyes met yours, cold, stark, and unreadable. What's your tone? You stepped closer, anger and heart burning beneath your calm exterior. Or what, Jungkook will go silent again, ignore me until I stop asking questions. He looked at you for a long moment, so long that you thought just for a second you would finally see emotions there, but instead he turned away. Go to sleep fine, that was it. No denial, no comfort, just distance. You felt your chest tighten painfully as you whispered, "Do you even hear yourself anymore?" He stopped at the door, his back to you. You know what the media is like. They'll twist anything they see, don't add fuel to it. And with that, he left calm, dismissive, and utterly unbothered. The door closed with a soft click, but it felt louder than a slam. That was the night something inside you shifted. You realized silence had power. His silence kept you waiting, suffering, unseen, but you could make silence hurt him too. If Jungkook wanted to play emotionless, then you would make him feel something he couldn't control, jealousy. Days blurred into a quiet week after the argument. Jungkook grew colder, if that was even possible. He still shared the same roof with you, but he was absent, always working, always composed, his eyes empty of everything but control. The only time you saw him was in fleeting moments at the breakfast table he never touched, in the car when he dropped you off at the company gala, or in the dim glow of the hallway when you passed each other like polite strangers. And that's when Noah began to notice. He had always been Dear Jungkook's personal assistant, loyal and efficient, yet kind in ways your husband never allowed himself to be. Noah smiled when he spoke to you. He listened, he asked how your day was, and actually cared about the answer. It started innocently, small conversations in the company lobby, a few teasing remarks about the stress of handling a man like Jungkook. But soon, those conversations became your favorite moments of the daylight, harmless but powerful enough to make Jungkook notice. The night of the Joan Enterprise mid-year celebration was glamorous, champagne, music, and chatter that smelled of money and ego. You arrived on Jungkook's arm, as always, perfect posture, perfect smile, perfect lie. He was dressed in a sharp black tuxedo, eyes focused on anything but you. When he got pulled into a conversation with investors, you slipped away toward the bar, needing air, needing space from the suffocating silence that followed him everywhere. No one found you there. You look like you would rather be anywhere but here. You laughed softly, swirling your drink. Observant, are not you? His smile warm, genuine, hard not to be when my boss wife looks like she's about to murder someone with a wine glass. That made you laugh, really laugh, and it startled you how good it felt. You tilted your head at him, teasing. You shouldn't joke about your boss like that. It's dangerous. I can handle danger. The way he said it, smooth but playful, made something inside you spark. You leaned closer, just enough for him to catch the faint scent of your perfume. That's when you felt it, the weight of Jungkook's gaze from across the room. He was talking to someone, but his attention wasn't there. His eyes were locked on you. You didn't look away. Instead, you smiled at Noah, your voice low. Nice tie, Noah. It suits you. Your hand rose, brushing against the fabric for only a second too long. Jungkook's jaw flexed. You saw it. His fingers tightened around his glass. But he didn't move, didn't speak. The restraint in his eyes was the beginning of the end. After that night, things changed. He stopped speaking to you altogether. His coldness turned glacial. He left early, came home late, but every time you so much as stood near Noah, Jungkook's silence cracked small, sharp fractures in the calm. You noticed it, you used it. Your laughter around Noah grew lighter, your touches more casual, your smiles more frequent, all under the guise of innocence. But deep down, you wanted him to burn. You wanted to see something in those eyes that once held nothing, and you did. Every time you and Noah shared a harmless joke in Jungkook's presence, that flicker of emotion, jealousy, fury, maybe something darker flashed across his face. It thrilled you, it terrified you, it consumed you. It happened late one evening. The office was nearly empty. Only the faint hum of computers and the whispers of rain against the windows. You were standing near Jungkook's office reviewing a report with Noah. He leaned closer, pointing at the file on the desk. His tone was casual, but your laughter, soft melodic, filled the quiet hallway. And that's when the door to Jungkook's office burst open. He stood there, coat draped over his arm, expression sharp and unreadable, eyes locked on the two of you. Noah straightened immediately. Sir, leave. His tone was low, level, and absolute. Noah didn't argue. He nodded quickly, excused himself, and disappeared down the hall, leaving only silence behind. You turned to face your husband, heart pounding. He didn't speak at first. He just stared at you. His eyes dark, his jaw tight, the muscle in his temple ticking. What? His voice came out rougher than usual, restrained but trembling with something dangerous. Is this how you beg for my attention now, Ryan? You froze. The space between you crackled, charged with anger and tension and something else you didn't dare name. He stepped closer, closing the distance inch by inch until your back hit the cold glass wall behind you. His hands didn't touch you, but his presence was overwhelming. Every breath, every heartbeat felt heavy with the weight of his control slipping. You think I don't notice the smiles, the touches, the pathetic little game you're playing with my employee? You met his gaze, unflinching. Game? No, Jungkook, that's what you play with me. He leaned in slightly, his voice a whisper now, dangerous intimate. You think I care? Your lips curved in a bitter smile. You do. That's what scares you. His jaw tightened, the air between you thickened until it almost hard to breathe. And then, without breaking eye contact, you sat it cool, sharp, deliberate. At least he looks at me, Jungkook. For a second, he didn't move. His chest rose and fell, his eyes searching yours like he was trying to find something, anything to keep his composure. Then he took a single step back, jaw clenching as he turned toward the door. You have no idea what you are playing with. The door shut behind him with a quiet click, but the silence that followed wasn't empty, it was electric. And for the first time, Jungkook wasn't the only one who was dangerous. The next morning, the mansion feels heavier than usual. His side of the bed is untouched, his scent fading into cold air. You walked into the living room only to find Jungkook dressed in his black suit, scrolling through his phone. You try to pass quietly, but his voice, low and composed, stops you. If you plan to play dangerous games, why make sure you can handle the consequences? You turn, startled by the quiet warning in his tone. What consequences, Jungkook, that you will finally look at me? His eyes lift from the screen, sharp, dark, and unreadable. You think jealousy is love? You are wrong. Then what is love to you? Silence, distance, pretending your ex doesn't still own a part of you. His jaw tightens, but he doesn't answer. He walks away, his control, ironclad, but you see it, the faint flicker in his eyes before he turns his back. That's when you realize the game has changed. The air in the June mansion grew heavier, each day colder, almost suffocating. You had stopped waiting for him at night, stopped hoping for explanations. Even he sensed that faint trace of cedarwood and rain was fading from your pillow. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. That morning, he walked into his study and froze. Hannah was there again, her red lips curved into a smirk as she handed Jungkook a folder, one she clearly didn't want you to see. Am I interrupting? Your tone was calm, but your heartbeat thundered in your chest. Oh, not at all. Why? I was just helping Jungkook with some company matters. Her voice dripped with false innocence. Jungkook didn't even look at you, just sat flatly. It's confidential. Go back to your room. You bite your lip, forcing back the sting of humiliation. His words cut deeper than they should have, but hours later, when Jungkook was gone, you found out what confidential meant. One of the board members, someone loyal to you, slipped you a document Hannah had planted. It wasn't business, it was sabotage. A fraud signature, a transfer order that could cripple one of Joan Enterprises' biggest subsidiaries and ruin Jungkook's reputation. Your hands tremble as you read it. She's playing him, she's destroying everything. You could have exposed her immediately, but something inside you wanted him to see the truth himself, wanted him to realize what he had chosen to believe over you. When the mask falls, 2 nights later, it happened. Jungkook came home late as usual, tired, losing eyes heavy with exhaustion and guilt. You were in the living room, sitting with a file in your hand. The same one Hannah fought. Is this your confidential project, Jungkook? He froze. His gaze dropped to the papers, realization dawning like lightning. His jaw clenched as he flipped through the pages, and with every line his composure cracked. Where did you get this? Does it matter? The real question is, when were you going to realize she's been using you? His breath came out sharp. Anger flared not at you but at himself. I didn't know. Why I didn't. Of course you didn't. You were too busy entertaining your ex to notice your empire burning. He looked up, then truly looked at you for the first time in months. The woman standing before him wasn't this quiet, obedient wife anymore. You were calm, distant, and heartbreakingly composed. You should have told me. Would you have listened? Silence, heavy, suffocating silence. His hand ran through his hair in frustration. Eyes glistening with something dangerously close to remorse. She meant nothing vile. I was a fool to let her back in, I thought. You thought you was the one who could fix what you broke. He took a hesitant step forward, his voice low, stripped of pride. I was afraid that if I cared again, I would lose everything like before. Hannah betrayed me once, and I swore never to feel that kind of pain again. So I built walls and I trapped you inside them. Your thought tightened, but you refused to let him see your tears. You didn't trap me, Jungkook, you erased me. He flinched as if your words hit him harder than any slap ever could. Weeks later, you found yourself standing on the balcony of Jungkook's office, the city glowing beneath the dusk sky. He walked in quietly, his steps hesitant. You know what's strange? He murmured, resting beside you. For years, I thought love made people weak, but you made me realize it's the only thing that makes us human. He turned to him, the wind playing with your hair. And what about fear? He smiled faintly, not his usual cold smile, but something tender, painfully real. I'm still afraid, wine, but this time I'm afraid of losing you. The words hung between you like a companion wrapped in moonlight. When his hand found yours, careful, reverent, you didn't pull away because for the first time his touch wasn't out of obligation, it was out of love.